Abdoellaah.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, setting up at the bowler's end, vital for the umpire. Different umpires have different setups. I will take you through my setup, and once I've done, I will then also ask Saikat to take us through his setup, just to show you that different umpires do have different setups. So when it comes to setup, you need to have a setup that is comfortable for you. So the first important thing when it comes to setup is that before the game starts, let's say the game starts at 10 o'clock, when the two umpires together do their field inspection, pitch inspection, creases, part of their duties is that they need to line themselves up behind the stumps. It is vital that an umpire is perfectly, at the bowler's end, is perfectly in line with the set of stumps. You've seen on TV when an umpire stands and they draw the pitch map when there's a DRS review. You've seen 99.999% of the time the umpire's his or her head is perfectly in line with the set of stumps. And what I mean in line with the set of stumps, they are exactly, the head is exactly over the stumps. And there is a method how the two umpires can do that. So how do they do that? Before the game starts, while they do their pitch and field inspections, the two umpires will then get together. I will ask Tom to line me up behind, and this, let's say after we've chosen in, there are different methods to choose an in. The method that we use is we use the bail to choose an in. I'm slightly longer than Tom, so I will flip the bail, which end the long spigot ends up. That will be my end. So what we'll do is we'll flick the bail, and you can see perfectly the long spigot is this side. So this is just a method how we choose an end. There are different methods, but this is a method that we choose.
How about the bail stand on top?
You'll just retake. And sometimes it doesn't always land perfectly. Yeah, it doesn't always land perfectly. It sometimes lands skew. You can redo it. So with the help of Tom, I'm now going to line myself up perfectly behind middle stump. Again, it's no exact science. It differs from umpire to umpire. This is a method that I've tried over the years, and where I am most comfortable when it comes to setting myself up behind the stumps. So over the years, after lots of trials and errors and using different methods from different umpires, so I will take 11 of these steps. And I will place the bail, or try to place it behind middle stump. But this is where my colleague comes in. So Tom will stand on the other side behind the set of stumps, and Tom will guide me until the bail is perfectly behind all the stumps. So Tom,
Slightest bit to your right.
slightly to my right.
Yeah. There we go. Center.
So now the bail is perfectly behind middle stump, and I will then make a mark. So this mark behind middle stump. I'll then make a second mark, and I'll get to my reason why I make a second mark. Again, similar, I will ask Tom to guide me
Same
to getting the bail
to
in
your right.
perfectly behind middle stump. Slightly to my right,
Bang on.
perfectly behind middle stump. So these are my two marks. So the first mark is I have a fast bowler's mark and I have a spinner's mark. That's one of the reasons why I have more than one mark. There are also times where the bowler do ask you to move a bit forward or a bit back. Work with the bowler within reason. The bowler asks you to move a bit forward, a bit back. Unless you still need to be, if the bowler asks you to move forward or back, you need to still be comfortable where you're standing. Let's say the bowler asks you to stand right up onto the stumps. Are you going to say, okay, I'll stand here? Why not?
That's not the
Because you're not
position.
confident.
That's not
Yeah.
the that's not the
Yes, exactly. One of the main things is if you stand here, and I'm going to show you later the importance of keeping your head still. If you're going to stand here, and one of your main tasks is to check the no ball, front foot, no ball, and back foot. So now let's just focus on the front foot. So to check the front foot no ball, what needs to happen? If you're standing here, you're going to have to move your head. And crucial, behind the bowler's end. Nothing should be moving. Head should not be moving. What should be moving? Only the eyes to move. That's why if a bowler asks you to stand here, this is not a comfortable position for me, and definitely in terms of checking no balls, also not to work. I've had bowlers asking me to stand here. Are you going to stand here? Also not. What is the main reason for standing here? Now you're like almost 30 meters away.
So you can hear the click.
You probably struggle to hear the edges. So my marks here is where I'm comfortable. So this is my fast bowler's mark, and this is where I stand for the spin bowlers. Also, there are times where you sometimes struggle to pick up the bowler's front foot on landing. Sometimes the bowler's got an action where the body is in the way. So now by moving, you can solve that problem. So you can either move a step back or a step forward or slightly. You need to see by moving, whether it's forward or back, you will then pick up the bowler's front foot after a while. Not all bowlers, but there are bowlers that sometimes do get the body in the way. So those are just 3 reasons why I have more than one mark. So now I've got my mark. I am now perfectly behind the stumps. And when you're perfectly behind the stumps, you're in the best position, and especially when it comes to LBW, to adjudicate an LBW. I've been, when I started umpiring, there were times where I was not behind the stumps, and I had bowlers, keepers, players questioning me. I see you not behind the stumps, questioning my LBW decisions. Now, perfectly behind the stumps. So now I know where I'm standing. I use this mark with 1 foot here, 1 foot the other side. And again, there's no exact science. It's where you're comfortable. When you feel comfortable. You'll see some umpires having a much broader, wider stance than others. This is for me a comfortable stance, with my feet, so far apart. If this is for you, what's for you comfortable? No, it's as long as you are comfortable. So now I'm comfortable. I've got my stance. That's the first part. The second part now is my setup, getting ready when the bowler is about to bowl. I use the striker as a guide. Normally you'll see the striker getting ready to face the delivery. That's one guide. Another guide that I use is, you can hear, especially if it's a fast bowler, the bowler taking those steps. You can hear the bowler running in. So now stance, setup. So now what do I do? So importantly, there's something that's called switching up and switching down. As an umpire, you can never be 100% switch on all the time. You will mentally drain yourself, especially in modern cricket. In South Africa, we play 98 overs. We play for over 4 days. 98 overs, day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. If you are going to be 100% switched on and concentrating for 98 overs at a time, that doesn't matter. I'm just using that as an example. It can be even 20, 50 overs, 40 overs. You cannot be focusing for if it's a 20 or 40 overs of the time. 98 overs in a day. You need to switch down at certain times. If you're not going to do it, you are going to mentally drain yourself. So I've got a switching up and a switching down method. So my switching up is once I'm switched up, I am now 100% focused. So I'll first cover my switching up, and what do I do? And then when I switch down, what do I do? So when I switch up, I'll get into position. So this is a block that I create myself. So once I enter this block, I'm now going to go into the switching up position. So I've entered my block now, but I'm not switched up yet. I'll wait for the batter to give me a cue where when he or she is ready and the bowler is ready. So once I see the batters now ready, I now switch up. So what I do is, this is my switch up. I first enter in my block. I'll keep my hands here. I'll wait for the batter. Once I see the batter is now ready. Once I lift my hands up, this is my switching up position. Now, once my hands are here, I am now 100% focused. There are different methods. Again, it's what makes you comfortable. And over the years, I've tried various things. You've seen previous elite umpire Abdoellaah, when standing like this. That is what's comfortable for Abdoellaah. Nothing wrong with it. You see Nathan Menton standing like this. It's comfortable for Nathan. Michael Goff today, standing like this. I've seen umpires stand like this. Whatever is comfortable for you. Over the years, I've learned and I've tried the various techniques. I've tried with my hands behind my back. Watch Abdoellaah and one of our, the late Murray Brown, one of our previous panel umpires, one of my mentors as well. The late Murray Brown used to stand like this, and I used to mimic my mentor, and I also stood like this for a while. And it's only once I stood with the late Sean George, and Sean was standing like this. And then after standing like this for many years, I saw Sean standing like this, and I've tried it, and ever since that, this is what works for me. Again, no right or wrong. This is where I feel comfortable in my stance and in my my setup. So once I see the batters ready, stand like this, bowlers coming in, I now lift my hands, and once I'm in this position, I am now switched on. Now I am 100% focused. Switched on. Bowler delivers, whether the ball now goes through to the keeper or there's an appeal, I'm switched on. Let's say then I'll take a single, so I'm still switched on. I'll let my hands go. I'm not gonna move around or get into position like this. I do let my hands go if there is a single. So I'm still switched on. And there's going to come a time when I'm now going to switch down. So you can never switch. That's why I'm not using the word switching on and switching off. You can never switch off. You need to be aware of your surroundings, what is happening. Players sometimes try lots of stuff, twin overs, twin balls. You always need to be what I call switch on or switch down. So yeah, I'm switched down. My hands are here. Whether it's now following the ball, waiting for the ball to be dead, still switch on. Whether you want to watch the ball, and once let's say the ball goes around, I now then get back into my position. So once I get into my box, I'm not switched on yet because my trigger movement for switching on is once I lift my hands. Once I lift my hands, that is when I am switched on. So you need to practice this switching up and switching down method. There are times where you need to be switched up, focus 100%, and you do have your switching down time as well. So this is my setup at the strikers end.
Bowlers
At the bowlers end. I'm now going to tell you my setup at the strikers end, and then I'm going to hand over to Saikat to take us through his setup quickly, and then you can ask questions on setup.
Can I ask you after you finish?
Yeah, after once I'm done, you can ask a question on it.
No, but, okay.
We'll get them. Yeah, we'll get them on it. So setup at the strikers end. Do you think it should be any different to at the bowlers end, or is there a different way of setting up at the strikers end?
Yeah,
Should there be a different setup at the strikers end?
I think so.
Yeah, why? What makes the difference between standing at bowlers and standing at the strikers?
Because at the bowler's end,
Yeah.
you're monitoring whether there's an LBW or the ball is stuck behind the at the striker's end, and you're looking for a run out until you come to the angle.
What we're focusing on is setup at the bowlers and the strikers end. How are you going to stand at the bowlers end, and things you do, and how you stand or how you set yourself up at the strikers end. There's an English saying, routine breeds consistency. So now I have exactly the same setup at strikers end, meaning, and I will get to my position now as strikers in, but in terms of my setup, once I get to that position, I set myself, I'm not switched up yet, looking at the bowler. Once I see the bowler, the bat is ready, I also have exactly the same switched up setup, consistency, same behind the bowler's end, same at strikers end. Routine breeds consistency. So same setup, whether at bowlers or at strikers. So when it comes to setting up at the strikers end, so where do you stand? Let's use T20 cricket as an example, where we do have the 30-yard circle. Where would you stand in a T20 when you're at strikers end?
In line with the popping crease.
In line with the popping crease?
That's what I was doing. In line with the popping crease.
Yeah, in line with the popping crease. And so we have the 30-yard circle. How far back would you be, Mohammed?
What you said?
So you're standing at strikers in, so where would you be? How far would you stand back?
I wouldn't go one pitch length, actually quarter of a pitch length. Before the circle. Quarter of a pitch length. I can't go.
Give him yards.
I did 25 yards. Oh, sorry. 20 to 25 yards.
A quarter of a pitch length.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else?
I did 25 too.
So,
a pitch length.
yes, so what I do is, again, the routine breeds consistency. I would want to stand the same length at strikers in that I would be at bowlers in. That is what I usually do. But there are occasions where there might be a fielder standing at square leg on the 30-yard circle. So now if I stand in the same length, I'm not gonna. That is not 30 yards. It's probably 5 or 6 yards in front.
In front, yes.
So now there's a fielder there. Am I going to stand, let's say 25 yards, and there's a fielder on the 30-yard circle? No, I'm not going to. If there is a fielder in your area, then I'll go stand on the 30-yard circle. Unless there's no one in my area, I'll then stand the same length. But if there is a fielder, I do go stand on the 50-yard circle. And the reason for that is in white ball cricket, there are fielding restrictions, so you need to be 100% sure that the fielding side complies with the fielding restrictions. That is my setup that I have at strikers end. I know there are some umpires that always stands on the 30-yard yard circle. That's where they feel comfortable. For me, unless there's a fielder in the vicinity, then I'll go on the 30-yard circle. But if there's no one near me, I prefer not standing, let's say 25 to 26 yards.
I have a question, quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
This here is my switch-on position for the pace bowler. This here is my switch-on position for the spin bowler. I just watch it mark line from the center of the front. I make it really quick. I have a left-hand fast bowler. He says, Shaq, move a little bit. Ball 3 delivery. This is my normal switch-on position. He said, move a little bit this way. We talking and we discussed and you explained to us, which we appreciate, the position where you could see best. But technically, in my situation, what I explained to you, remember I'm moving where I'm moving here, I'm dancing, but technically I'm not in my stand-up, the position where I could see best. There's a reason why he's doing this to me, right? The bowler.
Yes.
Now, what to do?
So now you need to move within reason. So for me, if a bowler asks me to move sideways, I will not comply with that
Why?
request. I want to be in the best position to make the call.
I explained that to
Make
you.
the call.
Well, he might say, I refuse.
Make-
If he say, I refuse.
I refuse to bowl.
What?
You might say.
If the bowler say, I refuse, I'm in his radar.
Then you can move a step forward or a step back if you're in his way. But you will not be moving sideways to comply with the bowler. If you're standing here, Muhammad, how does it look?
Saying that's the position I can see best.
Is this the position?
This is the position I can see best.
Muhammad, this is never a position where you can see best. And that's really going to help with that position.
That's the bowler use tactics. Tricks.
Yeah, so no, don't
Okay.
fall for the tricks. You tell the bowler, I'm not moving. This is where I stand. I can take a step back or take a step forward, but I am not moving sideways. Full stop. He or she needs to take it.
Thank you very
you.
much. Appreciate it. I learned something.
Thank you. I'm now going to hand over to Saikat just to quickly take us through his setup, and then we can have questions on setup. Saikat, just take us through.
Thank you.
Your setup.
Now I know that they say they are student of Karl. I got to know that they are student of Karl, that's for sure, because what I have learned from Karl, he has explained everything, So you've been doing umpiring for quite a long. I mean, you know what is set up, you have your routines as well. And what he has already said, I have nothing much to add actually. Just to tell you that the first chapter he said he used the bails, Sometimes you don't have the bails right on time, but umpires are already in. Sometimes you take the stumps off. Probably you do this, the middle stump, we take this like this. Whenever I feel comfortable, okay, if you do not have the bails, suppose I say, okay, same thing. You just use the wicket stump, okay, if you say, okay, that's fine. So that's the thing you can do. I think probably you do this in your games as well. The stance, he said, okay, that's for his fast bowlers and for the spinners. Some umpires do have they use the tape and they do it all the way. So I don't have my marks more than 2 because more sports gives me a distraction. So I do not want to see. From here I can still manage myself. You know, as he rightly said, if the bowlers request us to move this way or that way, no, because this is the best position from where I can give my decision. I can do a little bit of adjustments. Suppose someone jumps from here, probably someone. If I stand here, and like Mitchell starts, he said, okay, could you please come, because he starts jumping from here. That I can do, or I cannot do that far. And as he rightly said, we have right to say no, because there one of Sachitra Sen and I, a tall bowler, he wants me to stand here. I said, from here. I cannot see, because we have the televised game now, international games. The TV umpire look at the front foot, but we don't look at the front foot. But you don't have that advantage, because you have to look the no ball here, and you have to concentrate there as well. So you cannot go that far. But we can do some little bit of adjustment, you know that. So that is what we do. What he hasn't said after setup, that's what I would like to share with you, because whenever the switch, we cannot do switch off, switch down or switch up. But when you are focused, the bowler starts around, your concentration is there. Sometimes we are there, actually we think we are concentrating, but we are not actually there. It's very important, because to be frank with you guys, because I got my first test appointment in Australia, and I was quite worried about the bounce, and I was thinking so many things at the time, but the fast ball was delivered, I was there, but I was not actually there. So you have to be mentally, and fast ball doesn't appeal, I got it incorrect. Because I was not mentally there to give the decision. I did not expect, that we have to expect the unexpected. I thought, okay, fast ball go, if fast ball is go past, then I can be, on my foot, but they may not have that time, that you may face the, toughest decisions. Probably that was the toughest decision. So after that, nothing happens after that. So I was there, but you have to mentally, okay, I'm ready, because you have to call the no ball as well. If you miss, the ball is delivered, there's a caught, and by then you're still thinking, oh, it was probably no ball. So you have to be there mentally as well. Okay, bowler is behind me, I have to focus on the ball or whatever you follow. Okay, that is the thing. And as I said, at the square leg, I didn't know this until 2018 when Karl pointed me that. Because Jason Holder is that tall, I was standing at the square leg, because before that match, someone told me that Shukat, you stand quite far at the 30 yards. Okay, so from that distance you may not see the run out. Okay, then I started coming very closer. Then one of the World Cup qualifier match in Zimbabwe, Karl noticed that Shukat, you are standing somewhere there, probably 22 years, but Jason Holder is a tall guy, was right beside you. If there was a catch comes to him, and because of you, he missed that catch, dropped that catch, he will definitely, point to you because of you. So if the fielders are around, as he said, because there are some fielding infringement we have to look at, because if I am there, and the fielder coming from outside the circle, he's not, so from outside they may say he's always coming from the outside the circle, and the umpire is not looking at him. So at that time you have to do those adjustments. Okay. So use your common senses, because whoever say that, okay, why umpire is that far, because you have reason to go that far, because you know that you can explain it. Don't worry about, use your brain, common senses, because the way cricket is played, spectators may not know that, but we know that this is the actually routine. So that is what I would like to add, nothing else. So, and as you say, the stance, that's a good thing, in a stance, it's yours. Okay, I tried. I used to stand like this. Okay, like this. Then I said, it doesn't look good, or I didn't feel comfortable. Sometimes I started like this. Then I said, no. Now I take my stance. That I find comfortable. Okay, so it's up to you. Wherever you feel, whatever you feel comfortable for you, holding like this and like that. But you hold your hand. So switch on, switch off. When a ball is delivered. Well, if there is an appeal, stay there. As you mentioned, that if you do not stay here, if you do not give little more time to charge yourself, if you move right away, they said you didn't even watch the ball. So stand there when there is an appeal. So stand firm. Either say yes or no, or whatever, or not. Then you move. That is better. Okay. And switching down. Whenever I am at the square leg, I walk quite long. I don't stand in one place. So I talk to myself. That is the time I go switch down. I talk to myself quite a lot. Not for unnecessary thing. Just that thing that gives me comfortable. Okay. So just for my relaxation. Okay. That's what I do. probably you said one question, why do you stand here, probably here, right in the middle of the line. But Bruce Oxenford, our new coach, who is an elite umpire, yesterday he was telling someone, do you stand right behind the stumps here? Or slightly like this? He said slightly because he concentrates more on his left eye problem. Okay, you cannot go here. But it's still not probably, he said 99.9% of the umpires you can see. But some have a little bit of that adjustment, it's up to you. See, if I am at the square leg, I'm a left-hander, I think I can see better with my left eye. So I always stand here, probably not on the line, because in the international cricket, we have to stay far because the camera is there. Not there, we don't leave it everything on the camera. No, we still watch from there, but just to keep this line free for the camera. But my left eye was like this. But whenever I go the other side, right this side, if I go back to, that's my routine. Because I see, so here, if I go this side, so I stand this side, outside, that side I go inside. So that's how I adjust. So it's wherever you feel comfortable, with the two eyes, it is not easy to see the line. That's what I feel. If you think that, that's fine. So it is up to you guys to adjust. Whenever you get more experience and like feel comfortable, you know that what works better for you. Just follow this. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saikat. A masterclass on setup and positioning. Thank you. Any questions on setup and positioning, ladies and gents, before we move on to our next topic?
Oh, sorry. Okay, I have multiple questions, but I'll start with a simple one.
Yeah.
One of the things we have here is that the bowler runs down the wicket every single time, because unlike regular games where they follow through is to avoid the protected area.
Yes.
So as an umpire, when I see that the bowler runs through, especially on concrete and stuff, they just run straight through.
Yeah.
There is a high chance that they will block my vision on where the ball pitches, as well as if there is an edge, I would miss the edge because he is in the way of the ball along with it.
Yeah.
So in which case, I do position myself a couple of steps back or front to be able to get that pitch where the good length spot where it pitches generally to be in the vision. So I adjust that, not because anybody's asking or fast or slow, but because I want to make sure that the bowler running doesn't block my vision when he is just running through and not exiting the thing. That is here. Okay. That is my first thing I do on the positioning adjustment.
Tell me, Anil, is the bowler allowed to run in the protected area?
No, that's what I'm saying. No, it is, but in our leagues, this area is not very clear. Like sometimes there's a concrete slab and the edges drop very sharply, and therefore if they go through, they may twist their ankle and break them. Therefore, they are kind of, for safety reasons, because of substandard quality of pitches in some places, they do run, and we are mindful of their security or safety, injury related stuff. So they do that, and that ends up being a norm on other practice pitches also. If you see here, you see how it curves up on both sides. Sometimes they, because of that curve, they tend to run on the side of the pitch, that's all. It is not that it is allowed, but because of the substandard quality, we have no other choice but to let them do it, otherwise they'll hurt themselves.
I'll give maybe Saikat a chance to give his opinion,
Okay.
but I'll give you my opinion first.
Please.
I've had it where bowlers have run down the pitch and appealed for a leg before wicket decision. All I say to them is, I can't give out what I can't see. So please try and move out of my vision. Otherwise, you won't get a decision from me. And that usually works because bowlers want to get the batters out, right? So yes, safety is always a concern. But for me, I know that the bowlers want to get LBW decisions in their favor. So I normally use that, and that usually works.
Thank you.
Saikat, any?
that's fine. Okay, fine. This is, if it's an usual cricket, I mean the professional or semi-professional, you will not sacrifice this because you have an option to give the warning to the bowler, right away. Sometimes we allow, that's we call, friendly. We don't use the friendly, but we say, okay, stay away because now we don't know, tell them. But we point it out, we go there, if I point something, so that we make him aware once or twice, not more than that. If it's a habit of going to the 6 balls, and you are in a position, it's a cricket, you have to give your decision, right? So, if you think, okay, he has gone once or twice, or then third time you don't want to tolerate, give him one warning, and then first and final warning. Then the second warning, he is off. Second, third, okay. But if you say safety, if the pitch is not prepared, okay, safety is paramount. You shouldn't start the game in that pitch, okay. But that can happen in the lower grade cricket or probably the school cricket. That times the bowler, little kids, they have a habit of, okay, we can talk to them or we can talk to their coaches after the match is finished. He has a habit I will try to develop so that he don't run through the wicket. That is what I can do. But that's a strange question. If the pitch is not safe, so it's not safe for playing cricket. Okay, so at that stage you may have to adjust a little bit. But usual practice is that, okay, if the bowler goes through, you have to give him a warning, and once or twice maybe friendly, okay, try to avoid this because you have to make a decision to make. Cool. So you just follow the usual laws and protocols.
Right.
So I have a second question and the last one.
Okay.
All right. So on the positioning on the striker's end, right? 2 things I do. One is, like I do what he said, which is I stand inside this line so that my eyesight, I don't know why I did that, now I have a reason, like here, that I'm right-handed and because it kind of falls. And therefore I'm able to see this clearly, and sometimes from the sun glare I have to adjust a bit here and there to get that line, so I do adjust that way. Second thing I do is when I see that the keeper may be infringing on the gathering of it, I will move to this side to make sure that he is not leaning, so I adjust my position again. Irrespective of what's happening, I need to stand to get that right. And the third thing I do, which I learned recently, is that when there is a lefty-righty batsman, I know when there is a single or a run taken, I need to cross if it's a fast bowler. So I notice Richard Kettleborough do this, which is, I don't know where I learned it, which is I stand with one leg in front of me, so I know if it's a single, I walk. So I've started doing that. I haven't practiced as much, but I try to do that. So my position or standing changes for, at least as far as I can tell. These 3 is what I gathered thus far.
Okay, great. Sounds like you're ready to be a trainer, Anil. Excellent advice. I think what's important, what we learned from Abdoellaah and from Saikat, is what is comfortable for you to be in the best possible position to make the decision.
Quick question. So for the front foot no balls, when there's a TV umpire, he checks for that. Does he also check for the back foot return crease as well? Okay.
They have now started checking both.
Oh, recent? Okay.
Yes. I think it started 1st of January 2024.
This year? Okay. Thank you.
Great. Are we all good with setup?
Yes.
Right. Now we're going to go into how to get into position for a run out at the bowler's end. And I'm going to make this as interactive as possible. So I need a batter, please.
Who's
And
playing
you,
still?
you are going to be
Somebody who holds the bat.
and I need the batter over there, please, to the right of the camera, and then I need a bowler, please.
Who's a bowler here?
I'm right here.
Oh, where's Shakti, left-hander?
Okay, thank you. And so I'm the bowler's end umpire. So bowler, I'm not going to ask you to throw the ball. It could get dangerous. I'm going to ask you as a bowler to walk towards the batter and then just touch the bat with the ball and then throw it in the direction that I roll it in the direction that I require. So before we start with our demonstration, in terms of getting into position at the bowler's end for a run out, where do I need to get in? What is the prescribed position for me to get into position?
Depends on what, if it's a right hand or a left hand bowler.
No.
If it's a right hand bowler, I stand him, face the ball.
Anybody else?
Face the direction of the ball.
What was your question?
Where do I need to get to as an umpire at the bowler's end to judge a run out? Do I need to get to 45 degrees or do I need to get into the line of the popping crease?
In line with the popping crease.
Okay, great. Now my question to you is, and now we're going to have our first demonstration. Bowler, you're going to run to the batter, and the batter is going to hit the ball, or you're just going to roll the ball through to mid-off, okay, in that direction. So now my question to you guys is, you're right, he's not really a batsman, is he? Yeah, roll it in that direction. Now my question to you is, I need to get into line with the popping crease. Which side am I going to go to?
If it's in the V, you go the opposite side.
I like that answer. Did everybody hear what this gentleman said? If the ball is hit in the V, I need to go in the opposite direction to which the ball has been hit. Does everybody know what the V is? Can anybody tell me the two positions that distinguish the V?
Cover.
Mid
Mid
on
on
Long
and mid
off
on.
and long on.
I mean long on.
Okay.
On and off.
Cover too.
So that's the V for batters, okay? And we were all taught growing up as an opening batter, playing the V between mid-on and mid-off. Our V as umpires extends a little bit wider, okay? Extra cover and a straight mid-wicket. Why extra cover and straight mid-wicket? It's because I'm sure you've heard captains, especially when a spin bowler is bowling, saying to the straight mid-wicket, get in line with the stumps or get in line with the popping crease. Okay, so the reason that we go away from the ball when it's hit in the V, can anybody give me that reason? Safety. If I had gone in this direction and the ball is in that direction, I'm in danger of the throw hitting me. Whether the fielder is throwing at these stumps or he's throwing at those stumps, I could be in the way of the throw. Okay, so that is the reason that we go in the opposite direction of the ball when the ball is hit to the in the V. Okay, now I want you to go and bowl the ball, and the batter, please try and look like a batter for us. The batter hits the ball to point. Okay. So now, is that in the V?
No.
So which direction do I go?
Direction.
I go in the direction that the ball is being delivered. Bowler, I want you to go and field the ball, field the throw that is coming in from point. Okay?
Throw the ball in.
And the reason that we go in the opposite direction when the ball is outside of the V, why is so that
You have a clear.
so that when he breaks the stumps,
You can see it.
I've got a perfect view of the breaking of the stumps. Okay, that is why we go away from, in the same direction as the ball, if the ball is hit outside of the V. So now, what happens if the ball is hit in the V and I go in the opposite direction like it was earlier, and the bowler is behind the stumps to gather the ball? The ball, remember, is coming from mid-off. Okay? Can you see that his body position is not obstructing my view of the breaking of the stumps? So that is why when the ball is hit in the V, that we go in the opposite direction that the ball has been hit. And what happens if we do find ourselves in a scenario where the bowler is obstructing my view as the bowler's end umpire of the stumps being broken. What are we going to do?
You got to probably adjust yourself a bit.
We're going to try and adjust ourselves a bit. It's too late. We haven't seen if the stumps were broken legally. Any ideas what we do, guys? Remember, we're a team on the field.
Yeah, sure.
We confer with our strikers and umpire. What do we ask our strikers and umpire? If the stumps were legally broken, okay? We do not ask the strikers and umpire, was he in or was he out? What do you think? Because he is 40 meters away from the action. We need to judge whether he was in or he was out. We are just asking our partner at strikers end if the wicket was fairly put down. Okay. When we get into position at the popping crease, do we crouch or do we not crouch?
No, it's not needed to crouch. You can stand up straight.
We can stand up straight. Any other options?
I like to crouch.
You like to crouch.
Yes.
Has anybody watched or been watching the French Open tennis? The lines judges, what do they do when the point starts?
Well, they crouch. Yeah.
They crouch, isn't it? Their only job is to watch the line, and I think they are experts in what they do, right? The French Open is one of the Grand Slams in tennis. So I think if line judges are crouching in tennis, it's probably to get closer to the line, isn't it? So again, do what's comfortable for you, but I see not the ICC elite panel umpires because they've got TV to help them, but the best umpires in South Africa, when it's a non-televised game, they crouch. Okay, so I always try and do what the best are doing, as long as it's comfortable for me. So try crouching. If it's not comfortable, don't crouch. But if the line judges at the French Open are crouching, then it probably tells you there's a good reason for them to crouch.
What's the benefit in crouching?
Getting closer to the line.
Closer to the
Okay?
line.
Because if you think about it, if you are down here,
Get closer to
you've actually got a better view of the line than if you are up there. Okay, so crouching is getting somewhat closer to the line. But as mentioned, if it's not comfortable for you, it's fine. Stand up straight. And if we can maybe, I didn't say this at the beginning, let us finish our presentations first and then ask questions. Otherwise, we might not finish because we are wary of time. Last thing I want to say to you about getting into position at the strikers, bowlers end for runouts is what do batters do when they are desperate to get into their ground? They often dive, right? And it's very difficult to judge a dive because there's so much going on. Noise, movement, the batter sometimes even ends up crashing into the stumps. So just a little tip that I developed over the years is you can use the sounds when a dive happens, okay? Andile Peshukwayo was playing for his domestic side. It was the Dolphins against the Free State Knights. And it wasn't a televised game, so I had to make the decision on field. And Andile Peshukwayo dived, and the stumps were broken by a direct hit, and I needed to make a decision as to whether he was out or not. Thankfully, I was in the right position, but it was really tight. So with the naked eye, I couldn't actually be 100% sure whether he was out or he was in. But then I replayed the dive in my head, and the sounds helped me to make the decision. I heard the breaking of the wicket before I heard the sound of the dive, okay? Because batters, where do they dive from? Outside of the crease, isn't it? And they land up inside the crease. So the fact that I heard the breaking of the stumps before the sound of the dive told me that he was short of his crease when the wicket was broken by the direct hit. So use all the clues that you can. Your eyes are not always going to give you the answers. Try and use your ears to help you as well. One last thing that I forgot to mention or ask, what are we looking at when we are judging our run out? Are we looking at the popping crease? Are we looking at the stumps? Are we looking at the ball? Are we looking at the batter or the bats sliding over the popping crease? All of the above is a good answer. But where is our focus? I'm hearing ball.
Oh, on the if you could trigger a run out or not.
Which object are we focusing on?
The popping crease.
The popping crease. Okay, why are we focusing on the popping crease? Any ideas?
Because the run out or not.
That is where he has to be home. Okay? The popping crease is the only stationary object in the movie that you are watching. Okay? The ball is moving, the batter is moving, the bat is moving, the stumps will move when they are broken. And we all know, if you try to take a picture of a moving car, what happens? Quite often, that car is blurry, isn't it? So we need to focus on the only still object in the movie, which is the popping crease. And very importantly, we also, taking the picture, our camera needs to be still. Because if you've ever tried to take a picture with your phone while you're moving, the whole picture is blurry, isn't it? So let's make sure that, yes, we're trying to get to the popping crease, but if the throw comes in and we're only here, we need to stop, crouch if you want, and then watch the popping crease. Okay, do not be caught moving as the stumps are broken, because you are likely to make an incorrect decision. Saikat, do you want to add anything on getting into position for run out on the bowler's end? I know.
Nothing. What he forgot actually, that was in my mind. I thought of telling you, but he has already mentioned. Because what we are focusing on, this is the line actually. And we use our gut feeling sometimes, and the information do we have, as you said, it cannot be a moving camera, it's a still camera. And by the time umpiring start, because in other sports you have to use your eyes only, you don't have to hear. Tennis, football, basketball, whatever.
Yes.
But here it is a difficult thing. So we have to coordinate both things, because that's the most important thing. Because I don't know, sometimes you may get it wrong, incorrect. Wicket may not be broken, but most of the time wicket is broken correctly. But if you have doubt, don't give.
Yeah.
But that's what we have to synchronize, eyes and ear, but we focus on the line. That is the main thing. Nothing to do. Great.
Perfect. Any questions on getting into position for a run out at the bowler's end? Yes, sir.
One question. Okay. Now, if you don't have time to get in line with the comes for the run out, okay. Let's say you have time to reach ahead.
Yes.
Speak up, please.
He asked if we don't have time to get to the popping crease, and I think I did mention it. You just need to get as far as possible or as close as possible to the popping crease, but stop so that you are not moving when the stumps are broken. Okay, good practice you can do in the nets is move after every time a ball is hit, so that you get that muscle memory going. And very important, sometimes we tend to move sideways, or sometimes we even tend to move backwards. Our first step should always be diagonally forward towards the popping crease. Okay, because if we do this, then we are actually increasing the distance that we need to travel to get to the popping crease. Does that answer your question, sir? Any more questions, Rohan?
Ball is hit in the V, right-handed batter. You come over here, right?
Yes.
Ball comes in, the bowler breaks a stump, but you could not see clearly. The square leg umpire is that square leg.
Yes.
You can't see either.
Yes.
What do you do? If it's a close call,
Yes.
it's not obvious. It's close and the ball fell out, whatever. You're not sure what happened. What do you do? The benefit of it.
Very good answer from Mohammed. Give the batter the benefit of the doubt. If in doubt, not out.
That's it. Okay.
That's just a general rule, especially at club umpiring level, because we don't have the benefit of television, and yes, your decision won't be popular with the fielding side, but if they were batting, then they would expect that you can't guess. You need conclusive evidence to make a decision of out. So tell them we couldn't see whether the wicket was fairly put down, so we can't give it out. Yes, Anil.
What he mentioned, international umpires do have that benefit of the camera. If both umpires are not in a position of, that, as you mentioned, not out, if it's out, don't give out. But problem occurs at the domestic cricket or lower cricket. We don't have camera, but people from the club stands or spectators, they use camera and they will show you after that. Okay, so that is where problem starts. That happens to our top level domestic cricket as well. There's a lot of pressure. We don't have the luxury. But you need to have the thick skin, This, you cannot be perfect. You cannot see from here, you can see what is happening there or what is happening there. And you may not have the time to go every time. But use your best judgment. Be honest with yourself. Okay, you might have got it wrong. And every umpire is bound to make a mistake, but not deliberate ones. We try to give our best judgment. So you must have the thick skin to absorb those criticisms. Because you are not in a position, you are a human being. So I tried my best, I gave my best judgment, but even that camera, someone from outside picks that, though I got it wrong, but I can't help. So you have to be ready to accept that criticism.
One of the things you mentioned, right, from behind the stumps, we need to get quickly to the popping crease to judge a run-up.
Yes.
What I understood was to achieve that purpose is like if I'm standing here and I need to go this way, I move my left leg in that direction, so that will give me the shortest, because I don't switch this way, I'll always have it forward. And if I have to go right side, I use my left leg first, and when I use my go left, I use that. Otherwise, sometimes, like you mentioned, we are in the position of going sideways because this leg can go more angles than this one across. So to get it to the quickest place, I've been practicing to use the opposite leg to get there. That's basically
great. Muscle memory will instill the movement such that you will actually automatically move. And if that's the easiest way for you to go, that's great. Practice, and it will end up becoming second nature. Are there any more questions on getting into position for a run out at the bowler's end? We're coming to LBW later, Mohammed. Thank you. So I'll take this opportunity to ask Karl to join us. Saikat already alluded to the fact that there's always people outside the field taking videos or photos, or the game might be streamed. So guys, we do come in for a lot of criticism, but not only from outside the field, but of course inside the field. A lot of former first-class cricketers are moving to the US and playing in your leagues. How do we handle those egos? How do we, as umpires who have less umpiring experience than some of the players have playing experience, and also at a lower level than some of the players have played at, how do we deal with those criticisms and the egos that don't respect us? I don't know the answer. Hopefully Karl Herter can give us the answer. Please
I stand a bit closer.
Yeah, come closer, guys. This is going to be a
I want to have this on video. Stand closer.
Even closer. It's going to be an intimate session.
there, Mom.
Ask the question.
It's all recorded.
So, my opening statement to you is going to be what we need to try and achieve in every match that we officiate in. And
And that is not to try and prove to everybody how much you know, but rather how well you can manage a cricket match. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Have you heard of the term being a smart ass? People don't like smart asses. Okay. We need to be part of the game. But we need to be outside of the game. Am I making sense? Okay, it sounds anomalous, but that's what we need to do. So, when we start out umpiring, what is our objective?
Fair and fair.
No, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve?
Be consistent.
No, what do you want to achieve?
Be part of the game.
What do you want to achieve? Do we not want to get promoted?
Umpire a World Cup.
Umpire a World Cup one day. Who knows Vijay? Lovely man.
Yes.
Vijay wants to become an elite umpire one day. I'm sure he does. In fact, he told me he does. We need to understand that if we want to be promoted, we don't want to be pleasing captains so that the captain gives us a good report, so that when the reports go through to Danny, he can see what a nice person you are. Because it doesn't count about how nice you are. It's how well you do your job. And your job as an umpire, 90% of what we do as an umpire is managing people and managing situations. And the better people can manage other people, the further they will go. Because that's what it's all about. We can never not do our job. We can never not do what the game expects of us. So, if you want to be mates with the captains, stop umpiring and open up a pub and invite them for a beer and give it to them on the house, and you'll be their mate. You are not on a cricket field to be mates with the players. Okay. We're not going to stand there and be this ogre. That's not what it's about. We're going to smile with them, and we're going to laugh with them, and we'll chat to them if they want to chat. But when we have to do our job, we have to do our job. So if someone's misbehaving, Captain, come to me. This is unacceptable. See where my hands are? It's unacceptable. Speak to your players. We need to sort it out. Oh, what we don't want to be doing, Captain, I've spoken to you before. Okay, that's what we don't want to do, because now we're just provoking. All right, so we manage people. There you go. I believe you guys send off players here. Something. Is it? Like in football?
Yes.
A red card? Beautiful. Don't, and it's one of my favorite topics, this, because we wanted to, there was talks that they wanted to bring it in Cricket South Africa, and over my dead body. Because we try and hide behind the cards. Instead of being strong umpires, we want to do everything with the card. So if you misbehave again, I'm going to give you a red card. How much respect have you gained? Nothing. Okay. So, do your job means to earn respect. And it takes a while. It takes a while to earn that respect. And remember, it's a little bit of ingredients from all over that earns you that respect. Your decision making is going to be half decent. Okay. But once you've earned the respect, people will forgive the odd error that you make. Because you're going to make errors. If you don't want to make mistakes, don't umpire. Because you are going to make mistakes. I'll never forget our good friend Jeff, was speaking to Maria Erasmus at one panel meeting, the CSA panel meeting. And Maria asked him, so how was your season? And he said, well, it was actually quite good. I only made 2 mistakes in the whole season. And Maria said to him, mate, get real. Because you don't have DRS down the bottom. You've made a whole lot more mistakes than 2. Okay. So be prepared to make mistakes. It's how we deal with the mistakes. I always used to, if I'd made a mistake, especially in a televised game, I would want to know from the TV umpire immediately whether I'd made a mistake or not. Because if I made a mistake, I gave the players a little bit of leeway to abuse me. Because I made the mistake, not them. Okay. So like I said, we are part of the game. So if you mess it up, take it on the chin. Okay. But at a point it's got to stop. And if the abuse means that people outside the field are seeing that abuse, that's unacceptable. Am I making sense, guys? But if a player walks past me and says, that's a shit, then I'll probably say, yeah, I know. But we all make mistakes. But if he's going to stand there and go, geez, what are you doing? Everybody can see that now he's trying to belittle me. I'm not going to stand for that. Making sense, guys? So if you take one thing away from tonight, don't try and show everybody how much you know. Show them how well you can manage a cricket match. Because that's going to earn your respect. And once you've got that respect, it's very difficult to lose it. It really is. I did a first-class game one day and I made an error very close to the close of play the day before, and it was the captain, Alviro Peterson. And the next morning as we were walking out, I put my hand up to him and said, sorry. And he said to me, even monkeys fall out of trees. Okay. So everybody can make a mistake. Right? But once you've got that respect, those mistakes become more acceptable. Especially if it's an odd mistake. We don't want to be making lots and lots and lots. Okay, question. Why do we apologize? It's a decent thing to do. It's the absolute decent thing to do. I got it wrong. Sorry, bud. But if he's going to abuse me, no. Okay. And again, it's what your personality is. If you feel you don't want to apologize, that's fine. That's you. But I can tell you now, by apologizing, the guy thinks, oh, all right, he's admitted he's made a mistake. Respect goes up a notch. The other thing that you might want to consider, I'm not sure how your facilities work here, if you have nets at all. I see players practicing here. You might want to pop down to the nets. Because again, we're building relationships. So now you make a mistake on Saturday morning or Sunday morning, and the guy thinks, geez, it was a mistake, but this guy's trying. He was at the nets on Wednesday evening, or whatever the case may be. That makes sense?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So guys, manage your way to the top. Don't try and point your finger to get to the top. Be respectful, build relationships, but most importantly, do your job. Do not shy away from doing your job. Okay, any questions?
Karl, just a comment. I'm one of those umpires who apologizes if I've got it wrong, but I think the timing of that apology is also very important. Because if a guy is walking off fuming and swearing at you for giving him out LBW for an inside edge, that's probably not the right time to give him that apology, because he's probably going to raise your bat at you, and so I think it's the right thing to do is to apologize, but like Karl did it the next morning of a multiple day game or after the game, if you've got a T20 match, rather than in a heated situation. Yeah.
And this is a point for you, sir, and for Irfan, and the rest of your executive. I think it's vitally important that the umpires get backed. They get supported when it comes to code of conduct and all those nice things. They need to know that they are secure when they go out in the middle. Especially if I've been hearing some stories about how the guys get abused in matches. Guys, do your job. Fill in the form. Send it through to the chairman, the president, let him sort it out. Don't get involved in arguments. Okay. There we go.
Any more questions on player management? Excellent. Thank you so much, Karl. Right, now, in the fading light, we are going to make some big LBW decisions. The game is almost at a conclusion, so we need to be at our sharpest. I'm going to need a batter, I'm going to need a wicket keeper, and I'm going to need
Ball keep. I'm a keeper yourself.
a bowler's end umpire and a striker's end umpire. But don't stand too far away. Abdoellaah, if you can please...
Yes, sir.
Yes,
my like I'm gonna play.
Hey, wait.
It's a left hand.
I guess, yeah. One striker and umpire.
Looks like you're left handed.
Yeah. So, strikers, are you a left-handed batter or a right-handed batter?
Left.
Okay. So Anil, you're going to be our strikers and umpire because it's the left-handed. Okay. Can I ask for a right-handed batter?
Shafur, we want you to hold the bat right first.
You think you're talking to me?
Shafur, your bat is upside down.
Thank you, thank you.
You have a bowler? No bowler?
Great. I'll be the bowler, don't worry. So guys, before we go through some demonstrations and tips on how to judge LBW decisions, we are going to ensure that we all know the law, and you guys can all come a little bit closer, right on the edge of the pitch, so that what you say can be heard as well. We're going to go through the 5 conditions that need to be met for an LBW decision to be given out. So what is the first thing that we need to look for?
Legal delivery.
Ball needs to be a fair delivery or a legal delivery. Great. And then the next thing that we need to ascertain is where the ball is pitching. So if Mohammed is a right-handed batter and the ball pitches there, can we give the LBW decision out?
Absolutely not.
Why?
It's leg side.
It's pitched outside leg. Great. Hold on, Mohammed. We'll take questions at the end of the presentation, please.
You want to see the shot I'm going to play?
So now, what if the ball pitches over here? Can we give Mohammed out LBW, or can we consider giving Mohammed out LBW? And remember, there's no DRS here, guys. You need to make your decision on field.
You give the benefit of the doubt to the batter, but you can still consider it.
Oh my God.
If it's on the
Where has the ball pitched? It has pitched on leg stump. Okay? We can consider giving the batter out LBW. Okay? Can we consider giving him out if it's pitched there? Yes. Can we consider giving him out if the ball is pitched there?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Outside off. Perfect. Now, sometimes the ball doesn't pitch. Sometimes it's a full delivery. So, I want you to play forward for me outside leg stump, please, Mohammed.
What?
Play forward outside leg stump.
Outside leg.
So, if the ball hits Mohammed on the full here, can we consider giving him out?
No.
Why not?
outside.
Impact is outside leg. It hasn't pitched. It's a full toss outside leg. Aludin Palika, those of you who watched today's match, USA versus Pakistan, gave a brilliant not-out decision, which was reviewed. Why? It was a full toss and it hit the batter an inch outside leg stump. Reviewed, outside impact, outside leg, not out. Cool. Give me another 4 defensive in line with the stumps, please. Mohammed.
In line with them.
Can we give a full toss out if it hits him here? In line with the stumps. Yes, great. Now give me another one outside off stump, please, Mohammed. This is a full toss, impact, outside off. And he's playing a shot. Can we give him out, LBW? No, we cannot. Okay, now, Mohammed, please do one of these for me. Leaving outside off. If it's a full toss, please hold your position better. Pose for the camera. Can we? Up. You're leaving it. You're leaving the ball.
No, but
Leave it up there. I'm worried about the quality of batters in the United States of America.
You have a wrong example, so I mean,
This is the first time Shakur ever bowled a batter.
yeah.
Okay, so now that Shakur has not played a shot outside off, impact outside off, can we give him out?
It can be considered.
It can be considered. Up, please, Mohammed. Up. Yes.
Leaving
Okay.
the ball.
I'm going to give him out and I'm going to ask for a new batter, please. Thank you, Mohammed. Can we have another volunteer to bat, please? Guys?
He wants right
Yes. Okay, great.
I mean, I wanted to keep.
Okay, so now we've dealt with impact and let's deal with the next point we have to consider. Give me a 4 defensive in line with the stumps, please. So, is this, can we consider out LBW?
No.
It's going away.
Did you? No. Did you?
It touched the bat. It touched the bat.
Can we consider that?
No.
Why can we not consider that? Bat first. Okay, great. Give me another one with the bat behind the front foot, please. Can we consider this
Yes.
as an LBW decision?
Yes.
Why?
That's impact was
Impact was with the pad before the bat. Okay, cool. So we've got our 4 topics right, our 4 checklist items we know. What is the last thing that we need to consider to judge a leg before wicket decision? If it were not for the impact with the person, would the ball have gone on to hit the stumps? Cool. So now that we know the law, Abdoellaah and I are going to go through a few tips to help you with those 5 particular topics or checklist items for a leg before wicket decision. We're not going to worry about the first one, fair delivery. We all know we just need to watch the feet for no ball or fair delivery. And of course, the field. We check the field together as 2 umpires. Now, Mitchell Starc bowling to Virat Kohli. Okay, left arm over the wicket, fast bowler to a right-handed batter. Please take your stance. If the ball is going on to hit the stumps and there's no swing involved in this delivery, where does it normally pitch? Just for defensive for you, please. If the ball is going on to hit the stumps, left arm over to a right-handed batter, where does the ball normally pitch if it's going on to hit the stumps? Outside the leg stump. Okay. So if the ball pitches in line, and where is the angle taking it?
going away.
Left arm over the wicket, bowling to a right-handed batter. If the ball pitches in line, the angle will take it away from the stumps. If it is going to hit the stumps, generally it would have pitched outside leg stump. Okay, there is an exception. That is if the ball is really full. Okay, So if the ball is really full and it pitches here, it normally pitches in line and is going on to hit the stumps. Okay, but if it's a normal length delivery or just short of a length or a good length delivery, then those two situations apply that I've just mentioned. So what do we need to see from a left arm over the wicket bowler bowling to a right-handed batter when it's a good length delivery for us to give LBW out? What do we need to see? You guys mentioned it earlier. We need some in-swing, which Mitchell Stark is a great exponent of. Okay, so when I am judging that delivery, I am looking for swing. If I don't see any swing and the ball, I believe, is going on to hit the stumps, then it's most likely pitched outside leg stump. If I know and I can see that it's pitched in line and I haven't seen any swing, then it's most likely going across the batter, okay, and missing off stump. If I see that swing and it pitches in line and it hits in line, then I'm happy, I'm ticking all the boxes. The same logic applies for a right arm over the wicket bowler bowling to, if you can switch your stance to a left-handed batter, please. Okay, exactly the same logic applies to right arm over the wicket bowler bowling to a left-hander. You've got to see that swing movement for you to be able to adjudicate a LBW decision out. We spoke about the last requirement being if the ball had not hit the person of the striker, it needs to be going on to hit the stumps. So Abdoellaah is going to take us through height and also what other clues we can use to judge whether the ball was going to hit the stumps or not. And this is where our friend at striker's end is going to get some action. Abdoellaah?
Thank you. So we've covered the 6 points that the law tells us we need to consider when judging an LBW decision. But there are lots of other additional factors that you do need to take into account. Because the last point that you need to consider, would the ball have gone on to hit the stumps? So what are some of those additional factors that you do need to take into account when judging an LBW decision? Yeah, so the first thing that I'm going to cover is traveling distance. That is one of the things that you do need to take into account. And this is where your striker's end colleague is vital in assisting you. So how does the striker's end colleague assist you? So before the game, there's lots of pre-game signals that you're going to discuss with your colleague. So before the game starts, in terms of how you're going to signal how many balls left in the over, halfway to left, how you're going to signal if it's above shoulder height or below, waist height, full toss, above or below. Those are the type of signals that you discuss before the game starts. But when it comes to LBW, one of the points that you're going to discuss with your colleague is where the batter is standing at the time when the delivery gets bowled. So what I do is, and this is where when I'm strikers in, and also importantly in terms of teamwork, there should be constant communication between the two umpires. Constant, every ball, because these days you'll find batters moving every single ball. So you just need to look at your colleague constantly. So what do I do at strikers end? If I stand like this, this is how far the striker is standing outside the popping crease. So if this is my popping crease and I see him standing here, this is the signal where the striker is standing. So what I'll do at strikers end, I will stand like this, and Tom will be looking at me, and if Tom sees this is, then Tom knows this is how far the striker is standing outside the popping crease. So why is it important where the striker is standing? Traveling distance. Why is traveling distance important? Remember, the last thing that you need to take into account is whether the ball have gone on to hit the stumps. So traveling distance you need to take into account when it comes to if there was spin or seam or bounce, because if you do play forward, and we all know that the distance between the stumps and the popping crease is 4 feet. Meters. I know it's 1.22 meters.
Yeah, feet
What
is
is that in feet?
4 feet, 48 inches.
Yeah, 4 feet. So now, the striker standing like this, playing forward, and let's say the ball hits here. What is the traveling distance now? About 6.5 feet. And that is quite a distance for the ball still to travel. And that is where it comes in when it comes to whether there's seam, spin, or bounce. That is where traveling distance comes into effect. And so when it comes to the bounce as well, so what I do is, you'll find in South Africa, you'll find your coastal venues and your inland venues. So inline, the venues there, the pitches do have much more bounce than at the coastal venues. So those are also, again, the additional information that I take into account. So I know if I'm standing at an inline venue, I need to take that into account. It's not an exact science, but it do help you if you do take that information into account. When it comes to bounce as well, so what I'll do is, you'll know the new ball bounces more than an older ball. What I also do is, I observe from bowlers in the amount of bounce with the new ball. I'll stand there and I'll watch the amount of bounce that the bowler is getting. I had Reece Topley in the SA20 earlier this year. So Reece, being a tall bowler, those first few overs, lots of bounce by Reece. You need to take those clues. I saw him balls that the batter left, and I saw how much the ball was bouncing. So that I kept in the back of my mind, knowing that new ball, tall bowler, Reece is getting lots of bounce. So I always kept it at the back of my mind. So the point I'm trying to make is, these are the additional factors that you do take into account when adjudicating an LBW decision, and especially when it comes to bounce. If you get to a venue and you see those first few overs, the ball hardly goes above the knee roll, you take that into account, because you know there's not a lot of bounce. Someone like the Educator bowling, Educator just darts them through. You take that information into account when adjudicating an LBW decision. Yeah, when it comes other factors that I do take into account is if you can play forward. If the ball hits the front pad and it ricochets from the front pad, let's say straight down or straight this way, what does that mean? Yeah, just in terms of it is low, there's not a lot of bounce. You take that into account. If the ball hits here and it loops up, what does that mean?
A little bit of pace.
A little bit of pace, bounce as well. The point I'm trying to make is the clues that you do take when adjudicating an LBW decision. But play forward, whether it's forward or back, and I do see the ball looping up, there's a good possibility. It's not an exact science. I'm not saying if you do see the ball looping up, it's always going to be high. What I'm just saying is these are the clues to take into account, together with lots of other things when adjudicating your LBW decision.
Can your strikers in umpire help you with anything?
Yes, there are many umpires that don't look at the strikers in umpire when making a decision. No problem with that. They take it 100% upon themselves. When they make a call, they want to own that decision, and they do not look at strikers in umpire at all. That's how that umpire feels.
One-man team, for the one-man team.
Some umpires feel they do want to own the decision, and if they do get it incorrect, they want to know that I've got it incorrect. Yeah. Because you don't want to go on advice of your colleague. Now it's incorrect. Now you think, it sold me down the river. They want to own it. They get it incorrect. They'll take it on the chin. There's umpires that feel that way. There are umpires that work together as a team, because from strikers in, you can judge height much easier than from a front-on view. So there are times where the strikers in umpire can assist you when it comes to height. And again, it comes to those the discussion before the game starts. You should never go onto a field, your colleague shows you something and you're not too sure what it is. You need to have pre-match discussions on every signal that you, or assistance that you're going to give your colleague, because if your colleague makes a signal, you should never be thinking, what does it mean? You should have discussed it before the game starts. So there are, because now strikers is in a better position. So Tom and I have been standing together for many a year. So one of the signals when it comes to height that we do is, so I'll stand at when I'm a strikers in, and I think there is height involved, I will do this. This is my signal showing to Tom there is a bit of height involved. Whether Tom look at me and take it into account, it's still Tom's decision. But if Tom wants to take it into account, I think there's a little bit of height. This is just my decision. I do know some umpires do this. They'll stand at strikers in and do this. This means there's a bit of height, could be going over. Or they'll do this. This means they think, it's gonna hit, not much height involved. Again, that is where the two umpires can assist each other. Some umpires feel they want to assist, some don't. You can assist, whether your colleague looks at you or not, it's up to him or her, but you can assist. If your colleague, if you do assist and your colleague take it, you're a team, you want to get the correct decision. If your colleague don't take it, don't feel offended. I've showed him height and he still stuck it. He didn't take my advice into account. It's up to you. Other clues that you can take into account is the wicket keeper is a good guide where the ball is going. So if you see the keeper going to the leg, there is a good possibility. Again, not an exact science. I'm not saying every time the keeper goes to the leg, the ball is going down. But most of the time, keeper's a good guide. If keeper's going to the leg side, there's a good possibility that the ball is going leg side. Things like where the bowler's bowling from, wide of the crease, close to the stumps. Those are also clues that you take into account when adjudicating an LBW decision. Batter playing forward, hit on the front pad, bowler came wide of the crease, hitting on middle stump. So you see, in front of middle stump, bowler's going to appeal, saying, umpire, ball hit batter in front of middle stump.
But the angle you
But the angle, but the point I'm trying to make, the clues that you take into account, these additional clues. You cannot just be saying, pitch outside off, impact in line, that must be hitting. There are additional clues that you need to take into account. And in this example, with the bowler coming wide, with the batter playing forward, and yes, he's in front of middle stump, but you can now see still they need to travel 6 feet. That ball is definitely going down the leg side.
Back. Striker's end.
Another teamwork method that Tom and I developed over the years is that there are signals that the strikers in umpire do, whether it's, there are some umpires that will do this, some umpires will do this as strikers in to help your colleague to show there's a bit of bat. Again, those pre-match discussions, you need to discuss with your colleague what are you going to, the signals that you are going to make from strikers in. So again, well, you can assist your colleague. Sometimes the wind is blowing away from your colleague and it's maybe blowing towards you. You hear the bat, you can assist your colleague. Some do it like this, some do like this. I've seen umpires do touch their ears, indicating there was a sound. What Tom and I use is because the players do watch the umpires. And if they see you do this and your colleague perhaps give out, they'll say, oh, but your colleague showed you bat, and it can happen. So one of the method that I use the walking in method. So if I'm 100% sure there is an edge, what I'll do is I'll walk in towards the batter. So Tom doesn't need to look at me. So just from his peripheral vision, if he sees me walking in, moving, he then knows that I'm 100% sure that I've heard an edge. Tom can then take it or not take it. And if he takes it, if he doesn't take it, I won't feel offended. That's just my method. I use the walking in method. You just need to make sure if it's the last ball of the over and there's an appeal and there's no edge, you shouldn't be walking in to get to the other side. Believe me, I've done it before. Last ball of the over. There was an appeal, but there wasn't an edge, but it was the last ball, so I'm walking in and my colleague sees me. Again, working together as a team, taking those additional clues into account when adjudicating an LBW decision, using your colleague to assist you. Your team, you want to get the correct decision at the end of the day. So work together as a team. Take those additional clues into account when adjudicating an LBW decision.
Saikat, you want to add anything on LBWs?
No, that's great. I mean, combination of two of them is great. We play as a team. We work as an individual, but it is a team game actually. That's what we gave the emphasis. One thing I would like to add, that as they gave some clues that how to judge an LBW, and that's not science. It will not happen every time. If it goes balance up, it's not going to miss that. Okay, we have to buy experience by your gut feeling and what the information you have gathered. You have to give based on that. But those are the clues. One thing is for the LBW, judging an LBW, inside is very tough sometimes, But you have to follow the ball until the last moment. That is a practice. Even if we follow, everyone follows the ball. But sometimes you miss, probably sometimes you get lost. Probably you follow here, then you get lost. If you, whenever there is a DRS, frame by frame, you got to know that in the front-on vision, we can see the ball is next to the bat. But there is still some gap, the ball is yet to. That is what we see from that in the 2 dimension. But whenever they show on cameras, I see the ball is probably here, actually ball is here. So you got to keep your eyes on until the last moment. Okay, that is a practice by practice you can develop. And just one thing, he said, okay, we take help from each other. For LBWs, we ask something, whether we do have the walkie-talkies, we ask that where the ball hit do you think, so that you can judge, as you mentioned that when the batsman is taking his stance 1 foot up or behind, so we show this and that, So, and there when there is a bounce, especially when the first over or second over, we don't know how the pitch will behave. We try to gather some information from the square leg umpire. Do you think here it's here? But when there is an appeal, there are some umpires who would like to give, assist, and some umpires they said, I'm not going to give that. It is actually pre-match discussion. How much you trust on your umpire? If you think, okay, if he says, I don't want to give you, so up to him. But when we work together, we say, okay, I'll give you this signals and that signal, and you have to have that communication very clear. That, as he mentioned, that some umpires at the square leg, suppose he stands like this. Okay, whenever there is a bat, he said, I'll do this. Okay, from there, it is quite difficult for you to look at him. Then you're looking at him, not concentrating on your decision. So, like I say, I always at the square leg, I stand like this. Okay, whenever there is a bat, if I'm 100% sure, I'll give you that. So that you got to know that there's a bat involved. And once there is an appeal, as you mentioned, I'll keep you giving the signals. It's main umpire's judgment to take that or not. Some umpires say, on appeal, I will not give you any signal. Because if I say it is bad, and it was not bad at the end, and I look at him and give that decision probably, and Paul did not nick, then he said, you gave that decision because of that. So you must have that trust with umpires. And so that is what you have to develop. You don't have to. I have done one of the umpires, we decided that if there's a bat, you show me this. Okay, if there's a pair, something like that. So I was in this square leg. I thought, got hit there, So I showed him back. And the main umpire, I was giving the signal from the square leg umpire. He was walking back, looking and here. I said, you told me to give the signal. I thought it's a okay. The next ball again, here. I thought it's a pad. I showed him pad from the square leg. He was looking at me. Yeah. So I said, it is not working, So you got to trust, because who is the main umpire? If he get confused that he's not sure whether it's bat or pad, then only we look at the square leg umpire. If I'm sure that he hit the bat, then what is the point of looking at him? He might have got it wrong. He told me that whatever I believe, I'll give you that signal. If you don't think, don't take it. But you cannot abuse. It's kind of abuse. If he feels awkward, humiliated, he will stop giving me the signal. So you got to trust each other. And if I make mistake, you get happy. There's no way out, because next ball, next over, your head may come down. So we have to, whenever we are on field, it's two of us only. So that is called the teamwork. We work individually, but we work as a team. And the managing the game, then we have to finish the game. If I have a good day, he may not have a good day, but still if we work together, we'll get the respect from him in the future and from the players as well. And the good thing is that the signal, there is a signal in last ball, he said, okay, that's a good thing, okay, fine. If I'm sure 100%, he said, somehow, okay, bat going down the leg, I showed him the bat like this, okay, that's fine. But if there's a catch, okay, then he start walking, right? Okay, fine, that's a good indication. The last ball, what happened? If you have to decide that if the last ball, whether you will start walking or not. If you start walking, he thought there's a level he gave that, it was not actually. So you have to be careful of all that. But you have to, most of the times, judge your own gut feelings. Try not to look at the square leg umpire. Do not depend. Okay, sometimes it helps. Suppose I can tell you that one of the international games, Rod Tucker was there with me. The bowler, MS Dhoni was there. He hits like that. Okay, ball and helmet was very close. Noise was almost same, like the bat and helmet. I could not, but ball was up there. But I was walking and looking at him, but because I had time to look at him. Okay, so he said head. Okay, said I was not sure. I thought it's a bat. Okay, then I took his signal. It's a head. I said not out and got it right. It was not off the bat. Okay, but sometimes if the wicketkeeper right behind and you're looking at the square leg umpire, you may not get the time to look at him. If you look at time, and if there is a camera that is focusing on you, you're looking at him, he probably they should hit bad, then you give that. That is not a good umpire. So try not to focus on the square leg umpire. You can take the assistance whenever it's required, but try to believe on your gut feelings, your judgment most of the times. Okay. So that is what I follow. So it's up to you to, because we work individually, but we take assistance from our partners, but not always. Okay, so you have to judge when to decide when to take this assistance, when not.
Thank you so much, Saikat. Are there any questions on LBW or teamwork?
Ritesh, player 4 defensive, bottom pad close. So, do you have any clues in terms of whether it's bottom pad close, right?
Yes.
Pad first or back first, and where the ball goes afterwards? Is there any kind of clues as to whether it hit pad first or the back first, depending on where the ball bounces off?
So, you want to go for it?
Some say if it goes straight versus if it's going that way, it's either one of the other. So.
Yeah, you're right. So the bat is, I use my hearing for deciding whether it's bat or pad first, because the two sounds are very distinct. Tick doof or doof tick. Okay, if it's tick doof, what is that first? Pad or bat first. If it's doof tick, what is that? Pad first. Okay. Where the ball goes, physics won't always help you. Sometimes you'll think to yourself, how did the ball get down there? And for you to try and figure out the possibilities, I think is more difficult than using your hearing to ask yourself, was it a tick doof or was it a doof tick?
Tom, no, that's fine. There is no, he says physics, it does not work always. You have to judge what you have seen and what you have heard. Combination of eye and ear. Even if we try our best, we may end up getting an incorrect decision. Okay, that's the toughest decision, I think, inside is with the ball and bat is closed. Sometimes you say that if you're not sure, suppose here, it's difficult. Some West Indian batter have a technique, bat technique, they play with the ball, they keep their bat behind. It's so close, it's very difficult to judge. Okay, so sometimes it is like there, okay, almost same. That's just a clue. If the ball hits here, there's possibility that the ball will run fast. If the ball hits here, probably it will not run that fast because the hard surface. Okay, tick tack, he said the sound. So Alimda once came. Alimda, when he was prime, he gave us that's the same question he asked. Okay, he said, okay, every umpire has a different practice. I see some umpires before going to the ground, look at the ball, visualize. Okay, I visualize closing my eyes, who is the bowler, probably the start bringing the ball, as you look, okay, I visualize like this. So your practice, okay. So I get my preparation like this. Okay, there was a practice, Alim, that okay, you stand like this, hold it. Suppose the bat was, hold the bat, and there was actually pad up. Someone was padded up. Okay, hit the ball here. Okay, I have to judge. Okay, he was hitting the ball hard. Someone was the batter, wearing pad. So that's what he said. That's your practice. That's I did never try this. Okay, on that day only. But you can try with this. That may help you. Okay, noise. Okay, in meditation they say closing your eyes. You're out of the world, so you can see whatever you like. You can think like you're flying. So like this, if you close your eyes and try to adjust this, okay, pad or back. So that is how you can practice or try your best judgment. Try to follow the ball until the last moment. Don't keep your eyes off the ball. That you can do.
That's a buy.
Whenever you have a batter with a padded up, you can try practice with this so that you can differentiate this noise. Okay, so that could be a practice. Okay, so I like that.
Almost done. Mohammed, question?
Yes. You want me? Okay, I'll be the model.
How far a batter in order to judge a front foot LBW, how far a batter could be inside the popping crease or outside the popping crease. And you get hit front foot. Is there any distance range?
So, like Abdoellaah said, the further forward the batter is, guys, let's just finish. Very important question. The further the batter is, then the longer the ball still has to travel before hitting the stumps. So if it's swinging, or if it's seaming, or if it's turning from spin, then you got to consider that the ball has still got to travel 8 feet after the impact with the pad before it gets to the line of the stumps. Okay, so you can't say that you're not going to give him out because he's too far forward. You got to consider, if the ball didn't hit the pad, where was it going to end up? If you think it was going to end up hitting the stumps, then you give it out. But there is more doubt if the batter is further forward. So you can use that as a reason to give the batter not out. You can say too much doubt or going down leg. Keep your answers short and simple when you are answering the bowler as to why you haven't given the batter out.
The reason why I asked this question, Tom, I was made to understand. I was a spectator. The guy knows I'm a umpire. There was a 3-meter gap. I didn't answer him. Is that true?
That's only with DRS. If a batter is more than
call it donkey line.
if a batter is more than 3 meters
If I get hit donkey line
outside of the crease, then the umpire's call will remain in terms of impact.
Remember, it's the front foot I'm talking about.
Yes. If the impact is more than 3 meters outside of the popping crease, then the umpire's call will remain. If he gave it out, then we go on to the next step in terms of ball tracking.
Ball tracking, okay.
But if the umpire gave it not out, then DRS cannot overturn that decision.
Oh, that's a televised match. Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much.
That's DRS. Yes. Okay. So before we end off, we need to, Saikat needs to go. We are going to just ask Danny Khan to give a word of appreciation to Saikat and to Karl for their time. So Danny, this is going to go to Saikat. I'm sure you've got a few kind words to say. Don't worry.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate everything
Today it is very hard. I'm very happy to be part of this. These two actually, I know the teachers, because it is the same as what we have learned from him, and the way they explain, I have learned from him actually. That's why I have agreed to come here, and I wish you all the best. It's a challenging job, but if you keep your confidence, don't lose your confidence, keep believing in yourself, and just work hard. Things don't come easy. Karl knows about me, because how hard I work for becoming an elite umpire. It was a dream for me to come to the USA. I had made up coming here just because I am an umpire. It was not easy for me. I was quite excited, still excited. So that brings me here. So you may go up there. If you believe, you can fly. That. So thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very happy to be part of this. My childhood friend is waiting.
Oh, that's all. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. You want to say something? Sorry?
Here. You want to say something?
No, that's fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the way.
We're going to see you around before you go to Florida.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to learn something special from you before you go to Florida.
I'll be in Guyana and I'll be back here.
Good. Have a safe trip.
Good luck.
Have a
Good
safe
luck.
trip.
Enjoy the West Indies.
Yeah.
Get a swim,
Florida. I don't know. I guess we're done.
Well, you have a camera. Krishna said,
Thank you very much.
Congrats, man.
Take it through.
Okay, guys. Are there any more questions on leg before wicket or teamwork? If not, I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for your attendance and your interaction. We learn from you by the awesome questions that you ask Mohammed and Anil and everybody else. So thank you all, and you can, before he leaves, take a photo opportunity with Saikat, and we will see some of you hopefully in Florida. Otherwise, we hope you invite us back. Thank you so much, Danny.
No problem, man. It's a pleasure. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, we have some snacks outside here before you leave.
Yeah.
We have some Gatorade and some refreshment out there. So we make research.
Okay. Correct. Yeah.
Do me a favor, Karl. One guy in the back this Tom. Tom,
Yes.
take between me, you and